Prologue. Thus far, the summary of the 13 heresies contained in the second part of Book 1. The following belong to this third part, in which 13 heresies are contained. Number 34, the Marcosians, or the Marcosians. There was a certain Mark who was a fellow pupil of Collaborus. He introduced two principles and rejected the resurrection of the dead. He furthermore used to perform certain tricks with drinking cups by changing the color of their contents to a dark purple by means of incantations. Then he would initiate the women whom he had thus deluded. Like Valentinius, he pretended that all things were made up of the 24 elements. Number 35, the Collaboresians, or Collaboresians. This Collaboresius also taught the same things. In some respects, however, he differed from the other heresies, that is, from those of Mark and Valentinius, because he taught the emissions and the Ogdoans in a different way. Number 36, the Heracleonites, or Heracleonites, also seem to accept the mythology of the Ogdoids, but differently from Mark, Ptolemy, Valentinus, and the rest. Like Mark, however, they redeemed their dying at the hour of death with oil of balsam and water, at the same time reciting certain invocations couched in Hebrew words over the one supposedly being redeemed. Number 37, the Ophites hold the serpent in honor and claim that it is Christ, and they keep a real serpent, the snake, in some sort of a basket. Number 38, the Cainites hold the same things as do those heresies which repudiate the law and him who spoke in the law. While they deny the resurrection of the body, they hold Cain in honor and attribute to him extraordinary power. They likewise deify Judas. Together with them, they were with Kor, Dathan, and Abiram, and together with the Sodomites. 39, the Sethians, in turn, hold Seth in honor and claim that he was born of the supernatural mother after she had repented of giving birth to Cain and his. They say that after she had given birth to Cain and Cain killed Abel, she had commerce with the supernal father and produced the pure seed, which was Seth, from whom thereafter the entire human race was descended. These hold the doctrine of principalities and powers and of a number of other things. Number 40, the Archonetics, or the Archonetics, in turn attribute the universe to a number of archons and claim that all things have been made by them. They are also guilty of certain immoral practices. They deny the resurrection of the flesh and reject the Old Testament, but they use both the Old and New Testaments, distorting their meaning of every word to conform with their own way of thinking. The Sardonians are from Sardon, who succeeded to the error of Heracleon and then added to the deceit. He came from Syria to Rome, and afterwards, in the time of Bishop Hyginus, expounded his teachings. He teaches that there are two principles which are opposed to each other, and that Christ was not born. He likewise rejects the resurrection of the dead and the Old Testament. The Marcionites. Marcion was a native of Pontus. Oh, this is number 42, I'm sorry. The Marcionites. Marcion was a native of Pontus and the son of a bishop, but he violated a virgin, and having on that account been excommunicated from the church by his own father, he took to flight. He came to Rome, where he requested those who were ruling the church at that time to receive him to penance. When he failed to obtain this, he became stirred up against the faith and gave out that there were three principles: the good, the just, and the evil, and that the New Testament was foreign to the Old Testament and to him who spoke therein. Both he and his followers, the Marcionites, reject the resurrection of the body, but they do confer baptism, not only once, but even a second and third time after lapses into sin, or after it lapses into sin. And they even have others baptized for the catechumens who have died. They furthermore, without the least constraint, permit women to confer baptism. The Lucianist. A certain Lucian, not he who lived in the time of Constantine, but an older one, held everything as Marcion did. They are, however, reputed to hold certain other things that were not taught by Marcion. Number 44, the Apellians. This Apelles also holds doctrines similar to those of Marcion and Lucian. He vilifies all creation and the Creator. He did not teach three principles, as did the others, but one God who was supreme and nameless. And he taught that this God made another one. This last, he says, who was begotten, turned out to be evil and by his own wickedness created the world. Number 45, the Severans, or the Severians. A certain man named Severus, in turn, going still further than Apelles, rejects wine on the basis of a legend that the vine was bred of the commerce that Satan, in the form of a serpent, had with the earth. Woman, moreover, he depreciates, declaring that she has her existence from a sinister power. He furthermore introduces certain appellations of archons and certain apocryphal books. Like the rest, he rejects the resurrection of the body and the Old Testament. Number 46, the Tatianist. This Tatian flourished contemporaneously with the most holy martyr and philosopher Justin. But after the death of Saint Justin, he unfortunately came under the influence of the teachings of Marcion and taught the same things as he, with some additions. He has said to have been a native of Mesopotamia. Thus far, the 13 heresies contained in the first part of Book 2.